Let's put together a few of our first fall pots. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the garden. I'm Ray, and thank you so much for watching Horticulture Geek today. So I thought today we were going to start working on some of our fall containers. Now, I'm in Central Arkansas, Zone 7B. It is September the 10th here today, and it's a little early for fall here for us. But I have a couple of my fall containers that I'm ready to use, and I found some really pretty fall stuff. So what my thought process here is that I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple of my containers potted up. That way they'll have a few weeks to grow on here in the backyard in a protected environment before I put them out in the front yard on the fall display. So I thought I would bring you along with me just to see what I'm doing and see what I've got. So why don't I flip the camera around and we'll walk through everything I have. Okay, so here we go. I've got two of my blue containers. Now, if you've been with my channel for a while, these are a set that goes at the front door. And so each side of the front door has three blue pots, a big, a middle, and a small. These are actually the small size. And I had them planted up, and the plants in them they were done for the summer. They looked bad, so I've gone ahead and cleaned them out. And then I have these two orange pots. Let's look at these more closely. So these are interesting, and this is a good idea for you people who are working on a budget like I do. Sometimes specific containers and pots can be really expensive. So if you look at this is actually a kitchen utensil holder. I found it in a TJ Maxx on the clearance rack at TJ Maxx. They had two of them, and so I snatched them up, and then all I did, it's a little dirty there, but you can see, I just brought it home and drilled a hole in the bottom. And so now for just a few dollars, I think I paid $3 each. So for $6, I have two orange pots that I pull out every year and use in the fall display. So make sure if you're looking at creating a fall display that you look in unusual places. You don't always have to go to a big box store or to like a garden center and spend lots of money. You can absolutely flea market and secondhand store and bargain shop, your TJ Maxx's, Ross's, whatever you got near you. Go check those places out and see what they have. And if they have something you like, you can always make it work. A simple diamond grit hole saw for tiles and pottery is all you have to get a hole into any ceramic pot. So that's that. All right, now I won't be using all of this stuff today in these pots. I think the grasses will wait for later, but this is what I have amassed thus far for the fall planting. So I've got matrix rose pansies here, and those are just really pretty. Little yellow centers. There's a tag on it. Then I have some ornamental cabbage. Let's see here. So this is just called red, a flowering cabbage. Put that back in there. Here I have Swiss chard. So this is Bright Lights Swiss chard. And again, I use this every year. This is a go-to for me for fall, just because those stems, the reds, the oranges, and the yellows, and they play really well in containers and give a good fall color. Here I have some Carax. Get that to focus. So this one is Everillo. So there's that, and whoop. And there's that. Now Carax is really good. So it is a perennial grass. So once I'm done with these in my fall containers, I can either use them, put them away and pull them back out next summer, or I can plant them in the landscape and they'll come back for me. But you just can't beat, especially this lemony yellow color, the chartreuse color. It looks good in pots. Right behind that, let me pick this up. I have some Celosia. So now I like Celosia, and it comes in different varieties and looks. But when I saw these, I thought, man, isn't that fun? So it's purpley, pinky, so not your traditional fall colors, but look what it does when you put it next to the red cabbage. It pulls the red veining out of that cabbage. So I thought that looked really good together. So I grabbed a couple of those. And then back here, I have the Dwarf fountain grass. And again, this is also a perennial. So once I'm done with this in containers, it can go into the landscape. And I just thought, you know, with these seed heads on this grass, it just looks fall and nice to me. So there's what I've got. And I've got my biotone. And I've got right here my box of potting soil. So I am going to get these filled with dirt, and I am going to put biotone in them because, like I said, this is already early in the season for me, and I do want these plants to grow on before they go out front. If I were doing these containers in a month from now, when we were already in really consistent cooler temperatures, there would really be no need for the biotone because these plants aren't really going to grow past what they already are. So that's one thing to keep in mind. When you're doing fall containers, you don't need to load your soils up with fertilizers and amendments because fall plants aren't generally going to utilize those nutrients that you're putting in that soil. But in this particular scenario, for me, since I am again in central Arkansas, 7B, and it is still full-on summer here, and these plants will do some growing in the next few weeks, I am going to put some biotone in there because I do want them to root in really well to support the growth that I want them to put on. So if you're in my situation, feel free. If you're up north where it's already getting cold, you're already snowing, or if you're watching this video later on and it's already cooler at that time, you don't really need to put amendments in the soil. Just your regular soil should be fine, as long as it's a good potting soil, not a garden soil, a good container potting soil. All right, that's enough jibber jabber. I'm gonna set the camera up and we're just gonna put these pots together. Here we go. So here they are, ready to go. And you can see I mirrored imaged them. Since these will be going on either side of the front door with a couple other pots, I needed to balance them out on both sides. So that's how I did that. So I think they turned out fairly well. The mess I'm left with. And I had originally thought about putting the Swiss chard in the orange pots, but once I got putting the blue pots together, I realized I needed those in that pot. So now I have to go out and find something for the orange pot. And I've decided that the Matrix Rose pansies will ring the grass in their container. So, and I think I'm going to do baskets maybe for that. So we'll just wrap this up today with that. At least we got 2 of our fall pots done, and then I've got to run back out and find some more fun stuff to do some more of the baskets. So I think those 2 little containers turned out well. It wasn't exactly what I had planned going into it, but that's how gardening is. You go out and find stuff that appeals to you, that you think looks good and you like. And once you start plugging it and working with it, you kind of get a new, fresh idea. But that's okay. Like I said, I'll go find some stuff for those orange pots, and I'll pick up some baskets or something for the grasses and pansies. Now, one thing I did want to point out to you here is there's one plant that is quintessentially fall that you did not see that I had, and that was a mum. And that's just because it's too hot here. They are available here, and I'm sure they are available wherever you live. Every major box store and garden center has them in full stock right now because people want them and they're buying them. But it is too hot for me here. If you're in a cooler climate, you are probably more than capable of go ahead and getting those now. But what you have to remember about a mum is that they are a once and done bloomer. So the growers have forced those mums to be fully budded up and ready to go. And the garden centers and the big box stores have flung them out. And it's 91 degrees here right now today. Right now, standing here, it's like 91 degrees, which is too hot for a mum. It's been forced to grow. It's ready to flower. As soon as it starts flowering, it's only going to give you a week or 2, and then it's just going to be fried and it's going to be gone, and you're going to have to replace that mum. And so for me, I've still got a month and a half to 2 months before we are truly fall weather. So stuff like what I did today, where I can protect it and limp it along and it will grow on, that's fine. But if I tried to put a mum in a pot today, like I said, 2 to 3 weeks and I have to buy another one. And then 2 to 3 weeks, I'd have to buy more. 2 to 3 weeks, I'd have to buy more. So I just save mums to the end. And that may be something you want to consider if you live in a hot climate as well. Wait for it to cool off and then get you a mum that's budded up, not opened up. That way you'll get the maximum amount of time with that mum. And I know some people frown away from that because you want instant gratification. But the problem with buying a mum that is fully open, which each flower is fully opened, is you don't know how long that bud opened, and you may only get it for a week and then it's gone. Whereas if you buy a plant that's budded up, it just cracks, it's called cracking when they start to open up, you're gonna get 3 to 4, maybe even 5 weeks out of that flower. So go for the mum that's budded up, not opened up. And so hopefully this little fall container arrangement today has inspired you guys. Maybe it's time for you to consider thinking about what you're going to do for your fall arrangements, your fall containers, and your fall flower beds. So hopefully this has brought you a little inspiration. Hopefully you liked the plants I use in my 2 pots. And get out in the garden and see what you can do. It's time to start thinking about it and maybe even switching out your stuff. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've got some more stuff coming up. I'll give you a little sneak peek down there. You can't really tell it real good. But I've got some magnolia trees and arborvitaes down there. So I've got some projects coming up with those, as well as some other videos coming up where I've got to do a garden tour as well. So I'll just give you a little twirl around peek of the main garden there. But stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't subscribed and hit the notification bell, please do so. And that way you'll know every time we post a new video here at Horticulture Geek. And you can also follow us on our Facebook page under the same name, Horticulture Geek, and get little random updates and announcements there as well. So again, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And until next time, from my garden to yours, I wish you all the best and happy gardening.